Hey everyone, Marco from the Firehose Project here. I'm one of the co-mentors at the Firehose Project, and I'm excited you guys are here. So let's go through. What are we going to do? What are we going to cover in this info session today? So I want to do find jobs as developers, people who are entrepreneurial and actually want to build their own web application, and also maybe there's a few innovators who actually want to innovate on their current job. I also want to tell you a little bit about how we run mentorship sessions at the Firehose Project. So I'm a code mentor, other code mentors that we have, how we deal with that one-on-one mentorship time, and then also like kind of figure out like what kind of skills you're actually getting out of it. You know, a 12-week online coding bootcamp like we're having our apprenticeship program. So let's first go through our core curriculum and jump in what that means, like what kind of things we can expect from, you know, the first few weeks with us in the program. One thing before I jump in that I want to mention is if you have questions, go right below the video and type in your questions as they come up, as you have them. I'll check them every once in a while, and I'll answer them as I can. But sometimes there's a bit of a delay when your question actually pops up and comes over to my side. So it's good if I see them immediately, and then I can remember them for later, and I can answer them at the end so as to not to forget answering your question. I would not want to do that. Okay, let's jump in. Core curriculum. Basically, right, we have 12 weeks, and we're looking at building a few web applications with you throughout that time. The core curriculum consists of like three big blocks. The very first one is we want to get you really familiar with web development and actually building something like a real-world web applications that other people can use as fast as possible. So the very first application that we have you build is called Splurty. It's an unsolicited advice generator. And that should take you about, let's say, 10 hours, right? In 10 hours, you put something live on the internet, you get your own domain, you can share it with your friends, and they can use it. And that's really important to us. So basically what that is people can store quotes in a database, and random quotes get pulled out and shown on the page to a user that comes to the page. We also build a little about page. But it's not so much what it is. It's important that it looks good, right? It looks good on your phone, it looks good on tablet, it looks good on your desktop. It's really important to us that everything we build looks good so people can actually feel like, oh wow, somebody designed this, somebody actually took some thought into the user experience here. So, but the most important that you get out of it, right, you get a full roundhouse kick of all the tools that you're using. You get familiar with your terminal, you get familiar with a text editor, you're going to touch Ruby, you're going to touch Rails, you're going to touch HTML, CSS, you're going to write code in all these different languages, and you're going to understand how things fit together. And that's in the first 10 hours. And we really want you to push this live as fast as possible because, honestly, that's what startups do, right? That's what tech companies do. They take an idea and they build it as fast as possible and they put it live and they get user feedback. And that's exactly what we want you to do in the first 10 hours, right? Get it live as fast as possible and soak up all the new skills that you do. So then we got to ramp you up, right? Next, we're going to crank it up one level and actually have you build a Yelp clone, right? So everyone knows Yelp, where you can like rate restaurants, and we build something like that. So I think when I look at our Yelp applications that our students are building right now, the most important feature that there is integrating with the Google Map API. And just so you guys understand what that is, it's basically, right, you go and you type in an address, the address gets saved to the database. We're going to write code that translates that that address into latitude and longitude coordinates. We take those coordinates, pass them to a Google Map API, and then we get that little pin on the map that matches our address exactly. That's kind of the neat features, right? Then we need to build other features so this web application actually becomes really useful, right? So we can, if we think about, we make that Yelp about pizza places. We can also make it as one of our students about horse race tracks in the USA, because apparently there's no good map with all the horse race tracks in the USA. I didn't know that, but I learned that, and that student is really happy sharing that application with his friends already. So you can already like customize your application that early in the program and actually build it for something that you're passionate about. But let's stick with like pizza places, right? So besides the map, you also have like the ability to create a place. Then you obviously want to comment on places, and you want to rate places. And if I create a pizza place, and when you guys come to like, oh, Marco's Pizza is the best, right? You want to give it a rating and a comment, and as soon as you do that, I want to have an automated email notification in my inbox being like, hey, somebody just gave you a rating. You might want to check that out, right? And so this automated notification email is what we're building. We're also building a user dashboard with you where we show some standard analytics, right? How many ratings you've given, all your comments, all your restaurants, all your pizza places that you created. And all in all, we wrap that into like a mobile-first design, so it looks good on your phone again, tablet, right, and desktop. And then the point is like you should be, and that's really what we're stressing with all our students from the very early stages when they're with us. It's like you should be at a party, you should be able to pull out your phone, and you should be like, hey, to your friends or your family, this is what I built last night. And their response should be nothing short of, oh wow, you did this? Holy smokes. That's what we're striving for. Nothing else will do. So that's the goal, right? Now we build the outbound. About 4 weeks into the program, we got to do more. We got to ramp you up more. The learning curve should always be steep, and you should be learning more, right? Then we're building an online learning video platform with you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Udemy or Skillshare or even like Team Treehouse, right? It's a platform. That means I can have instructors coming to the platform and uploading content, video lessons to other users, students who want to buy those video lessons, right? So now we're already getting an idea of what it is. Okay, there's video lessons that people can sign up, they can buy, people can sign up as instructors and actually make the video lessons. So I think the most important feature that you're going to learn, there's two. The first one is actually accepting credit cards and payments on your application. So we integrate with an API, a Stripe API, it doesn't matter the details, but basically you now can receive money on your application. And the second one is we're going really deep into database relationships. And what does that mean? If you think about it, right? So we have instructors, multiple ones, and we have students. And it's like, how do we track which student signed up for which course by which instructor and who paid what when and who can access what? So that, keeping track on a database level, that's what powers, let's say, 90% or more database web applications on the web today on your phone. But what are you using? That's really important to know, and that's a skill that you use if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you build your own stuff, or if you want to look for a job. Those are key skills. So now, obviously, besides those, we also like build a little bit of JavaScript, right? We teach you JavaScript so you can be better on the user experience side, right? We have some nice user features that you can resort lessons as an instructor, so that helps for the user experience for users coming to your platform. That's the first 8 weeks of going through the core curriculum, right? I'll talk about in a little bit how we go into keep that flexible and adjust different modules based on what your personal goals are. If you want a job, if you have a job but you want to build something for a specific tool for your job, or if you want to build your very own idea and launch that as your own startup. So, but after those 8 weeks, what happens then, right? So here's like kind of like a little fork in the road. So if you're a job seeker, we're going to put you on a team project where you need to work together with other web developers, right? Some of them are mentors, others are students, and you have a technical lead. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because in the real world, that's what you're going to do on day one. You don't code alone. You always work together as a team. And that's really important to have those skills. And think about it from, if you change perspective, as a hiring manager for a company who looks for a web developer, if you have someone who already proven to you, because you can see all the code and everything that's all available on a place called GitHub, like how that person collaborated on GitHub in the coding environment in a professional way, that's a huge competitive advantage. And that's exactly why we're throwing you into that deep end of the pool on a team project, on a group project, to build a real-world web application together with a team. So that basically means there's several students, and you go in to get wireframes, which is every single page of the application drawn out. You get specifications, what that application should do, and then you need to build it. So step back, give you an example. So a few students right now from Germany and here from the East Coast in the US, they're building right now an application that trains people how to do really well in a technical interview process during a web development interview, right? You need to solve whiteboarding questions, you need to solve algorithmic questions, you need to be good about database structures, and that's the platform that they're building right now, right? So not only are those students demonstrating that they can work as a team, but they're already like in an interview, they're like, well, that's question 5 on the tool that I built for other students right now. I can explain to you that like I built a place where people learn how to interview properly, right? You think about how the conversation changes when you interview after having built something like that. It's not going to be like testing you that much as like talking about the application, how you build it, and how you broke the individual steps out. And that's huge. And that's why we're doing this. Now, if some of you are entrepreneurial and they're like coming here and be like, hey, I have this awesome idea and I really want to build it out. I don't care about a job. I either have a job or I really want to go full in. Then we're going to teach you different things, right? So you probably don't care about solving whiteboarding exercises. You probably care about like getting your product, getting your web application, getting your app launched as fast as possible. So in order to do that, we probably need to change it up a little bit. So what we do is like we focus heavily on building your product and getting it live on the internet as fast as possible. So we probably need to worry a lot more about user experience, the UI, the user interface. We probably also want to wireframe a lot in a lot more detail, like draw every single page out and really figure out how it works, because once you get the first users on your site, if they don't like and don't understand what they see, it's going to be really hard to have them come back, right? They're going to, I don't know what this is. It's like, no idea. They're going to be gone. So it's really important to have that nailed down really early and then take user feedback and consistently improve based on what people tell you, right? If they say like, hey, I would like to have an upvote feature here, then you're actually in a position to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I've built that before, right? I've built, so why don't I build this? And within like, say like one afternoon, you move a new feature out to the side and you tell your users, hey, we just got a new feature, everyone wanted this, here it is. And that's how you strive as a startup and be successful, by taking user feedback and making things better and better and better at a really fast iteration cycle. So those are kind of the 2 tracks that a lot of people fall into. And now let's talk a little bit like mentorship sessions, right? How does that work? So our mentors are all they all stood in a, like myself, they all stood in a classroom and they have taught, right? I myself taught at like Harvard, I taught at Carnegie Mellon, taught at RISD Brown. All our mentors have taught at universities and they understand how to explain complicated technical details in a way so people with very little coding background can actually understand what's going on, right? A lot of really good coders don't have that ability, so we really screen heavily for that. And obviously, like, you know your tech too. You know how to code and you know how to build really good web applications, right? So those are our mentors. So it works like every week you get mentorship sessions. You can schedule the mentorship sessions whenever you want. So usually do about an hour, hour and a half per week. Some people have them like towards the end of the apprenticeship rather than weekly. Other people like it weekly. Some people try to split them, so they have 2 a week. That usually is not the best idea because it's actually really cool if we go into those mentorship sessions and we have enough time to build a real feature. So what now happens in those mentorship sessions, right? First of all, we got to understand mentorship sessions with the Firehose project are not about fixing error messages and looking at your code and being like, hey, you have a typo in line 5, you have a typo in line 10. We help you outside of mentorship sessions. You should come to mentorship sessions with everything on your code working, and then you and your mentor, you can focus about deep diving into what matters to you or skills that we know you need to actually land a really good job, right? Example, if you're on a job seeker path, right, you're going to come to us and let's say you're in week 4 or 5, right? We're going to go in and we're like, okay, look, now we're going to drill down on JavaScript together and we're going to build a feature out like this that is outside of the core curriculum because that's what you're interested in and I know where you want to go. They value that skill too. Or we go into things like test-driven development, right? That's when you write, just take a step back, when you write tests for your software so you actually know when you push your code live, when your application goes live, you actually can check that everything's working and nothing is broken. So no user sees like, a big error message here, right? You can test that automatically. So that's something that we do as well with our students. We're like, this is important. Let's spend the next hour to go through this and learn this, and then we give you additional challenges that you can do on your own to actually like make that knowledge really like click and sink in, and you have time to practice. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, right, we do that differently, right? The mentors are going to come in and be like, okay, which feature do you want to build, right? And someone might say, like Stephen, for example, who's one of our students, and he built an Uber clone for medical marijuana, right? So you're thinking about, I pull up my phone and it's like, okay, I need my my few ounces right now, I guess, and you see a driver actually driving on the map and it live updates, right? So for him, that was really important, that the live updating of the maps was really good. So we went out, and his mentor, who is Ken, actually went out and taught him how to use technology that's pretty cutting edge called WebSockets for the live updates on his map. So that is something that we then do. We built that feature that is really important, and we figured it out together, like what matters most, and that clearly mattered because it was really important for him and especially for the users, and so we built that out. And that's what mentorship sessions are for. And now you're going like, well, what if I have any trouble? Like, when are you helping me? Mentors are like accelerating me more further, but what about like these small things that I have? We have 2 other places where you can get help. The other one is a Q&A forum. People always like, oh, forum, I'm never going to get an answer. But actually, we answer all the questions of our students. There's dedicated help always in our forum. So we usually get back to you within about an hour with a solution to your problem, right? So let's imagine you're coding, you're building a Yelp clone Thursday night, you code, and you're like, ooh, weird error message. Everything turned red. I don't know what this says. You're trying to Google around a little bit for a few minutes, right? You can't find the solution. You double check your code. You're like, I don't know what's going on. Take a screenshot, explain to us what you did, what you expected to come out, show us your screen with a screenshot, and then we can go in and like, look, hey, you forgot a comma or semicolon on line 14, right? You have a typo here. You're missing an equal sign, right? Those are small things that can take you, when you're starting out, like hours or days in the worst case scenario to figure out, right? If you post something on Stack Overflow, like, which is another forum that's publicly available, you might wait days, so the answer you're getting is totally confusing because somebody doesn't know which level of knowledge you have to answer the question and give you all the individual steps. So we know that because we work close together with you, so we can answer it so you understand it and you can move on, and you're not stuck like spinning in circles and wasting valuable hours that you could have spent learning something, valuable, like building another feature, like building email notifications or building a dashboard for your users. So that's what we do with the Q&A forum, and that actually helps a lot of students like always moving forward, and getting new features up and building and continuing learning to code your own and launching your own web applications. Then we have another thing where we like to check in with students, so no one falls behind, no one like goes off on down the wrong path. So we do weekly office hours where we check in with all students. So that'd be like, usually we do a Google Hangout. All the students meet each other in the Hangouts, and we talk about, hey, where are you? Are you falling behind? Are you ahead of the game? How are things going? Do you have any troubles right now? Like maybe big picture questions we answer. Like the other day we talked a little bit how yesterday actually, how all the different pieces of a web application fit together and who's responsible for what. And that's oftentimes really important. Like definitely get the big picture and understand, like, oh, okay, now it starts clicking. I'm writing a lot of code and I'm really deep in the code. But then zooming out and taking a step back and understanding, that's how it works. And then things click a lot faster. So that's what we do once a week. So now you have it, right? Run you guys through the core curriculum. That's usually the first 8 weeks. During that time, your mentors will challenge you to build additional features and show you additional skills based on your personal goal. You have the forum to ask help for all the small stuff, the error messages that you get stuck on, and you have the weekly office hours to check in with us. The last 4 weeks, we're going to throw you on a team project if you're a job seeker, because that's really, really valuable for you to build something together with a team. If you're an entrepreneur, we help you to take everything you learned and apply it to your own, what we call a capstone project, to your own web application idea, and make sure you launch that together. The same way we've done it for years working for some of the best startups in the country. So that's pretty much what it is. Now, you're like, okay, what am I going to get out of this? What can I really do? I think the short answer, after the 12 weeks with us, if you sit, if you're in a bar, you're having hot chocolate. I always drink hot chocolate since bar, everyone doesn't like me because I don't drink beer. If you're in a bar having a hot chocolate and you're having an idea and thinking, man, I would love to build this, that's what you can do. You can go to your desk, go to your computer, and you build it. That's the skill that you learn, right? Then obviously that also means you can work on a professional web development team, right? You can work in a team, but that's the core essence, right? Technology-wise, if you take a zoom in of things that you can build, right? The hard skill set you have, right? We're teaching Ruby, the programming language. We're teaching Rails, the framework. We're going to teach you JavaScript, some Ajax, right? That's also, we use that for the it's called the front end, what the user sees. We're going to teach you obviously databases, how to interact with databases, the relationships between databases. If you're a job seeker, we'll teach you how to do some algorithms. Then we teach you about servers. We're also going to teach you about coding collaboration tools. We use a tool called Git and GitHub. That's the standard that all the startups are using. What else we do? I think that is pretty much it. Obviously, like HTML and CSS, right? Responsive design, mobile-first design. That's really important to make stuff look good. As I said before, we don't like to push something live if it doesn't look really good. And I think those are all the things that we teach our students, and in the 12th month. So now usually people ask me, how many hours do I need to put in per week, right? And that varies. Depends on your goals, right? Generally, we say dedicate about 15 hours, 1-5, per week to coding, right? That should get you through the core curriculum and through a group project and or your capstone project as an entrepreneur in a pretty good way. But you can put, if you want to get more out, you can put more hours in, right? There's students that put in 40+ hours a week in, and their learning curve stays steep because their mentor know exactly, like, okay, this is how fast they're progressing. There's additional knowledge need to be. Put them on a second team project if they have to, or make the team project bigger, or we build out more features of certain web applications, or we teach them additional skills, as I said, like writing software tests, more JavaScript, right? Going deeper into the Rails framework or like algorithms. And so it really depends what you want. We say 15 hours minimum, but you can go as high as you want. And so far, we have never run out of content that you can learn. There's just so much knowledge in coding, and to be honest, you never stop learning code. It keeps going and going and going. Now, I quickly want to check if you guys have any questions, and then I'll answer them. So give me one moment. Okay, Michael, I already answered your questions about the time commitment each week for the course. Is a set 15 hours, so you got it minimum, but you can go a lot higher. Then Joe has a question too. Do you provide lessons on how to seek a job after completion or ratio? Yeah, so gotcha. Do we help people like find jobs, right? So yes, definitely. I mean, that's something of the big things, right? You're going to go into this with the goal of getting a job. We need to prepare you for the interview, right? Not only is the coding and the group projects going to prepare you, so you have something like, this is what I built. These are 4 web applications that I actually customized for my own purposes. That's something that you have to show as portfolio pieces. The technical hiring manager can also see that you worked on a group project, and they can see exactly how you interacted with other members, which code you reviewed, which code you rejected, which code you improved, what you wrote, right? That's all tracked, and people look at that in detail before they even talk to you and they ask you specific questions. Now, also, you're going to need to be working through solutions and challenges and come up with solutions on the whiteboard. So we do that too, right? You need to sort lists. You need to write some basic algorithms and solve some quizzes on the whiteboard without writing on your computer. And that's something you need to practice. So we definitely prepare people for that as well. Good question. That's definitely something. So let me check if we have some more questions. Is there, Joe again, is there an admissions or interview process? Yes. So basically we start new students always on Monday, but you need to talk to us, right? We wanna, so I right now talk to almost all the students, other code mentors talk to some. I wanna know, what is your goal? What do you wanna get out of this? And what's your time commitment? I just wanna see this, and I wanna make sure that your expectations align with what we can give you. And I wanna know what kind of background, have you coded something already? If you have some applications, some websites, anything Even if you've done like Code Academy or Team Treehouse, show me your profile pages. If you have a GitHub account, even better. Show me what you've done. I just like to see that, and I'm curious, and that helps me understand which level you're at and how we can start you best and how quickly we can ramp up your learning curve, right? If you have nothing, that's no problem, but be honest about it and be straightforward about it. And then, yeah, we interview, and I'm just going to figure out, like, as I said, what your goals are, what you want to get out, and I want to make sure, like, what we're having actually helps you achieve your goals. If it doesn't, if you need different technology, if you're in a place where people do not use Ruby on Rails, there's only Microsoft companies, right? Then probably I would tell you, like, okay, this is going to be hard, and then I suggest other alternatives for you, what you can do. So that's really what that conversation is about. It's a great question, Joe. Cool. I got one more question earlier via email. It's like, pricing and stuff. So how much does it cost, right? A lot of students ask me that. So we're charging $4,500 for the full 12 weeks with all the mentorship questions, mentorship sessions, the Q&A forum, and the weekly office hours, and then you have lifetime access to all the guides and the curriculum and everything. And we have several payment plans, right? So if you pay everything up front, it makes it easier for us. We give you a $500 discount. We also have payment plans, so you can pay in 3 monthly installments, you can pay in 5 monthly installments, or 9 monthly installments. So some people pay in 9 monthly installments. That's $500 a month for 9 months, right? Other people pay up front. Those are kind of our two most popular plans that people are using. I think I just had another question pop in. Stephanie or Wen Lee had a question. During the first 8 weeks after the 3 projects, could Mentor help me build my own project if I like and I have time? So, okay. During the first 8 weeks, right, where we ramp you up and we give you a lot of the fundamental skills where you build 3 web applications with us, that way, if you have your own idea, it's actually good, like, practicing on those applications and making them your own. Like I said, the one student who's really into horse racing and horse race tracks, he made the Yelp not about pizza places or whatever we have it, but he made it about horse race tracks in the US. So it's something you can think about. Your learning platform, you can make for anything. It doesn't need to be coding video lessons or something, right? That can be anything you want. But then the last week is when we really take the skills that you learned, Stephanie, and apply them to your own idea, right? That's when your mentors help you. Obviously, if you want to build a few customizations, like to some of the apps that we're going to build, yes, definitely, your mentors are there for you, right? But it all depends, like, on you, how much time you put in, how motivated you are, how much do you want to learn extra. So, you know, let's figure that out when we actually go through and we sit down and we go, like, okay, this is where you are right now. This is the code you learned. This is where you have challenges, right? And then we, like, make sure we fill the holes in your knowledge so you can actually build and launch your own idea. But again, if you want a job versus build your own idea, right, you kind of can have both, but it's usually best if you focus on one, and then we can give you a laser-guided curriculum and mentorship sessions to achieve that goal, right? And you want to nail one goal really well, then 2 goals, that kind of, right? So that's always something that I tell students who talk to me to think about. I think, yeah, we're pretty much done if no one else has questions. If more questions come up, you can email me. You guys should all have my email address. If you think of anything like tomorrow or the next couple of days, just let me know. Just send me an email. If some more questions pop up in the Google Plus page, in the Hangout here, I'll try to get them too. Yeah, but email me and let me know if anything else comes up. If you want to jump on a phone call with me and ask me more questions in person, happy to do that. I'm helping a lot of students. Oh, there was just another one that I get via email right now. What happens after the program is over, right? That's a good question. So basically, once the program is over, right, we make sure you achieve your goal, which is like launch your own application or land a job and prepare you for that, right? And we help you actively with it. But we also, like, still have access to us, right? Every student has my phone number. In my email footer, you guys have my phone number too. Call me if you have a question, right? If I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping and I'm not answering. If I'm awake, I'll help you guys out. That's really what we're doing. I spend about 2 to 3 hours every week talking to our graduates, and so do the other mentors, right? We check in with them. I want to know what's going on in your life right now. You have any troubles? How's it going with that app that you built, right? Steven moved to California for his medical marijuana app. So we're gonna still helping him if he has technical questions. So people who landed jobs before, we want to see how they're doing and what's going on, and if they're working an interesting side project. So that's what I do every week, about 2 to 3 hours, talk to people on the phone, talk to our former students, our graduates. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. More questions? Send me an email. Thanks to you guys. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for making time to watch me talk here for about half an hour. Stay awesome, and I'll see you around.